Here's the thing. In the people business, we're all different. So because of that, we don't believe in a one size fits all. When people tell me, give me the playbook how to be successful, I say it's different for everybody. Different for me, different for Evan, different for Vinh. First thing as a business owner is I don't care how good you are. If people don't know about you or use you, you don't make any money. Because if you don't know why you're doing this, it doesn't really matter. Because everything I'm going to tell you, you'll try for 3 months, you'll give up. 6 months, you'll give up. Because life is hard. There will be challenges. There will be temptation. You'll veer off course. Something happened.
Alrighty, all right, we're starting and we're recording.
Yep, we're alive.
Okay, welcome to another episode of Cashflow Bros here with Vinny and Evan, and we got a special guest, Mr. Long Doan. Right? Yeah. I've been watching a lot of your episodes and podcasts, and I see a lot of people calling you Long Doan, and I'm like, no, we're Vietnamese, and we know how to say it correctly, so we're going to say it correctly. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and have some fun with you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I know. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Evan. Sorry about that.
All right, so we're doing this on Riverside now, so it's gonna be hard because usually we record together in the studio, so we sync a little bit better. So today, you're a guinea pig. This is our
All
first
right.
time. Yep, and we're looking to do more of that. And I will introduce Anh Long because I know Anh Long for a long time through Aria. He's a very respected individual, a mentor, a professional, and very well established for his organizations, the RG Realty Group, hence the sweater. And we're gonna get into a little nitty gritty of your background a little bit, so people get to know you better. But how I know Anh Long is, I mean, he's always there, very approachable, answer a lot of questions. He's a great mentor. Also, too, his new title that I don't see in his bio yet, that is VNARP National Board Member, is he's helping us with our upcoming leadership that's coming up in Northern California. So really excited to have Anh Long part of the leadership board. And again, it's a great platform, VNAR, to get someone like Anh Long and many others to join and help give back, and not only sharing their secrets, but also help promote other leaders that wanted to be better, thriving in their community. But that, without further ado, I want to welcome Anh Long. And Anh Long, can you just share with us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, thank you for having me on here. You're right, Vinny. Doan is how we pronounce my last name correctly. But I came to America in the early 80s, right after 16 Candle came out, right? So people mispronounced my name in school. I got made fun of, Long Doan character from 16 Candle. And
Oh my gosh.
There's a back pills here in America called Doan's pill, which is spelled the same. So then it was easier for people. They start calling me Doan instead. Like, is it Doan because it's spelled the same way? Like, sure, let's roll with it. So then, yes. Yeah. So I'm known as Long Doan, but Long Doan is my real Vietnamese pronunciation. So thank you for that. So quick little history. Came one of those boat people, like millions of Vietnamese people who landed here in America and the world. I left by myself when I was 13 years old. That was my third try. I made it to the refugee camp in Malaysia. In Wikipedia page, Pulau Bidong, it was nicknamed Hell Island, considered to be the most heavily populated place on earth at that time. I was one of 40,000 people living in the size of a football field, and I did not know anybody. I was considered an orphan because I was by myself, so I had priority. So I only had to stay there for about 8 months. My uncle, who lives in Minnesota, my dad's brother, sponsored me. That's how I ended up in the cold, frozen tundra, Minnesota, where I live here today. And I got here. My younger brother, believe it or not, 2 years later tried as well. He was only 12. He also made it. So he ended up in Indonesia. So when he came to America, I moved out. We used to live with my aunt and uncle for a year when he came over. I moved out, put him through high school from 8th grade to high school, worked 3 jobs, went to the University of Minnesota. When I got out, I went into mortgages, was doing it for 15 years, eventually owned my own mortgage company with a couple of partners. And then the last 18, 19 years, I've been in real estate. I founded Realty Group. We are now the #1 independently owned in Minnesota and the third fastest growing in America in the last 5 years, according to Real Trends. We have about 800 people there. And I'm very excited. I learned a lot along the way. And my passion is to give back because I'm not here today. It wasn't for all the people that helped me get here. And real estate's my platform of doing that.
Man, there is a lot to unpack there. It's so crazy. I was telling Evan, nothing makes you feel more motivated when you hear a story about the old refugee camps and all the people who are struggling to try to get over to this country. I mean, being that we were both Vietnamese of descent, we both hear about this story, experience this story all the time. I know, Evan, you got your own story about that too. And it's so crazy that you mentioned that, as you were saying. My parents also came from that Malaysia island. I never
No way.
knew because I always heard them say it bidong or something like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's
Look it up on Wikipedia page, Vinny. And they're probably
it's
being most Vietnamese people are very humble. We don't brag about and we don't talk about the thing we go through, so that's probably why they didn't tell you. But look it up, man. Wikipedia page right now.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I know I've been alive for 35 years. My dad has never talked about his travels here. And then I talked to other people about how they were struggling to get on the boat, how they were fighting against Thai pirates, and dealing with the crowdedness of the refugee camp. So, man, crazy story
And
that you
Yeah.
for
made it
our
through there.
follower or fan, you've been getting at least story because these are very common story for the Vietnamese, especially the successful individual that we bring on the show. A lot of them come from the similar background because we're somewhat the first and the second generations of the Vietnamese here in America. But like a long point, I mean, we're coming from nothing, right? And now we the reason that's one of the reasons why we're so humble, because I mean, you start from nothing, and with everything you have today, you feel like you owe people, you want to pay forward, because when you got here, everyone is helping you, you know what I mean? So now it is our duty to give back, and this is a great platform for us to do that. And I want to dissect more into what you're doing now. You know, we're gonna get back into VNARP that you just joined, and your vision, your agenda behind that, but what you've done so far, right? Share with us, because you're 600 agent, I correct?
Yeah, so
Minnesota?
almost 800. Yep, we
Or
have
800?
yes.
800.
Yep.
800. 8 offices, right?
Yep, we're up to 11 now. Yes.
Oh,
I
wow.
know my bio, if you people look up, haven't been updated. I need to update that.
All
Probably a
right.
couple years old.
So after this episode, hopefully Long can update
That's
his
right.
bio.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, I
Make
mean,
sure
long.
you
It's
But
VNARP
once again,
National
like
more.
Vinny share about his parents' story, right? We don't
yeah.
care about those kind of things. We don't go back to do it because it sounds like we're bragging, and we don't do that. So you're right. I
Yeah.
need to update that though, to at least to be accurate.
Leader shows leave glues, and I think that's something that you're doing. So you're also a mentor, and you're actually coaching a lot of your agent, right? So a lot of questions here I want to ask you is that when you work with a new agent, let's say Vinny, for example, someone that got into real estate recently, right? What's some of the advice that you give them, and should they be having a goal like yours, having 800 agents and 11 offices? Is that something they should looking forward towards?
Yeah, very very good question, Evan. So we get that a lot, right? Because one thing about our industry, because Evan, you are in it too, so is Vinny. So you're right. We a lot of us are in the real estate space. Real estate space. I know California, Minnesota, every state's a little bit different, but no matter what, it is still the barrier of entry to real estate professionals very low. Okay,
Very
what I
low.
mean by that is some state is like for us it's like 90 hours. Some states a little bit more, some a little bit less. You pass a couple tests, and now you're licensed to help people with one of the largest financial transactions in their lifetime, if not the most complicated and complex. What they don't also realize is that you're also running a business as an entrepreneur. I don't care if you're on a team, you have a team, you're brand new, you've been doing it for 33 years like me, you are a business owner. So because of that, a lot of people have very great success right away because it's also a people business. So in the people business, people work with people they like and trust. So if you're well connected, you can have no real estate experience, you get in the industry, you're still going to succeed. But the problem is you have great success because people like you and trust you, they want to work with you. But people only buy home every 7 to 9 years as an average. So you have great success the first year or two, and also now you're like, what do I do next? Because you've never treated as a business. So for brand new agent come in, I always tell them treat it like a business. You are starting a new business, so you need to start learning how to run a business. And the very first thing you should do is find a mentor, a coach, or align yourself with a broker or team leader that can help you navigate through all of the challenges that you're going to face, because there's a lot of them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing I will say is find somebody, because here's why, guys. There's three ways we learn as human. Okay, one is considered the easiest way to learn is by imitation. If someone will figure out how to do it, why do you need to reinvent the wheel, right? If you live in Southern California and someone know how to really get a lot of business in Southern California, why do you want to go start all over? Ask them how to do it. Yeah, in school it's called cheating, in life it's called sharing, right? Just imitate somebody, you know. The second way to learn is the hardest way, is by experience. Go through it yourself. Learn it through the school of hard knocks, right? Fight through it, fail, learn, whatever. But here's the cool thing: platform like these, you guys and me, we're sharing our experience so other people can learn from it, right? But the third, which is the most noble, is by reflection. Once you imitate somebody, copy somebody, learn from someone experience in yours, you have to reflect to see how that fits you and who you are as a person. Okay. One thing, I've been in America now for 40 plus some years. I'm watching and noticing American as a whole. We're starting to lose what I call a critical thinking skill. People are now believe in everything they see, read, or hear. They don't even reflect and see, does that even make sense, you know? And how does that fit you? It might work for Evan and Vinny, but may not work for Long. So these are all of the things. So back to the long and about way to answer that question is find a mentor so you can imitate, okay? And then you have to understand that it's a business. So then you are going to learn how to also start and grow a business. And system run business, people run systems. So create systems and process for your business, and then start creating people around it. Because at the beginning, it's you, right? You wear all the hat. You're the marketing person, you're the closer, you're the H showing agent, you name it, right? And then, but you start replacing that. So with that being said, back to the very first question. When I'm asked to help somebody or coach somebody, before I go into all these logistical things I'm sharing with you guys, I say we're going to spend the next 2 to 3 sessions, if not more, to find out your why. Because if you don't know why you're doing this, it doesn't really matter. Because everything I'm going to tell you, you'll try for 3 months, you'll give up. 6 months, you'll give up. Because life is hard. There will be challenges. There will be temptation. You'll veer off course. Something happened. So your why is like your North Star. Once you figure out your why, every time you get lost, you look at North Star and go, okay, I got to get back to it. This is what I do. There's days I'm like, I don't want to get up today and do this. But I'm like, oh, my why. Now I'm excited to get up to do this. You see what I'm saying? So, so that would, what I would say, Evan and Vinny, is figure out your why. We all have a different why, and that would be the biggest advice I would give is find a mentor and a coach, treat it like a business, and figure out your why.
And I think that's crucial. You're right, because for someone to first start out, it saves you so much time going to a mentor or a coach. Then because mentor and coach, they don't necessarily yeah teach you everything, but they can share with you a lot of case study and mistakes that they've learned throughout the course of their career, and that will save you a lot of time. I tell my kids that all the time, and I say what I can share with you is a lot of mistakes, so you can avoid them. You know what I mean? Because you learn a lot from those things.
Yeah, that's actually what I tell them. I'm probably not going to tell you how to do stuff, but I'm going to share with you stuff you shouldn't be trying anymore because I already tried it and it didn't work.
To a certain extent.
And from through a lot of experience, obviously, I mean, starting from the beginning, right? And going back to the why, because it's so important how you're mentioning when you run a business, a lot of these people who are real estate agents with a low barrier of entry, they don't have that foundation, right? And you can survive in this business without that if you were likable, and maybe like a lot of people, the market was great, so you didn't have to kind of develop those skills. But I love how you say it all always goes back to the person and the why. And it shows a lot because I see a lot in your other content how you talk about where your why comes from. Sitting on that beach at 13 years old in Malaysia, like, what the hell am I doing? Am I a victim or am I a victor? Am I lucky or unlucky? Like, how, as a 13-year-old from a different country with no family, how do you find that why on that beach, that moment?
Yeah, and you're amazing. Hey, by the way, I love being on podcast when the hosts actually research and know about me. So I love that. Kudos to you. Thank you.
Uh,
But I will tell you, most of us don't start that journey of looking for your why until you're more mature, right? I would say most of us don't do it until we're like young, between 30 and 40 years old. Because when we're younger, we think we know everything, right? We don't need it. We're indestructible. We can do whatever until you start getting a little smarter and more wisdom. So they say, Vinny, our why, most of the time, not always, usually created between the age of 8 and 15. And it's usually a period of time or an event that kind of impact you so much. That's what it is.
Yeah, point,
So
point of
I didn't
reference is
find
that
out.
you were mentioning.
That's right. That's right. So the point of reference. That's right. So I didn't know about mine until in my mid 30s. So it wasn't very long ago, you know. So I still work hard until then because that's all we know as Vietnamese people, right? Because Vietnamese people by nature, where we left to come here because we wanted a better life. And the saying that America is the land of opportunity is not a lie. It's the truth. Because we have the opportunity. You know, even if you're in Vietnam, you work hard, you may not have the opportunity. Here, at least you have it. So Vietnamese people, that's why we're one of the most successful first generation refugee to ever come to America, right? Because we get the opportunity, so we just go and work hard. I did that.
Yep.
I got pretty far working hard, but it wasn't until up here. That's where you see people go to the next level. Is everything is your mindset, okay? Because your mindset is everything, and that's, be honest with you, that's when I actually started figuring out was between my, early to mid 30s. But when I get to take this journey with somebody, it's different for everybody. I would tell them when you find it, all of a sudden you feel like you're about to cry, goosebump, you whatever, and I get to be a part of that. Where all of a sudden it's like the light goes off. The very last one, I'm like, the guy said, is a guy, a good friend of mine. He's like, bro, and we're on the phone because we usually in person, whatever. This one was on the phone. He's like, you can't see me right now, but I'm crying, man. You know, wow. You will know it. You will know because you know why? It explained you. It's like, dang, that makes sense. Why I am the way I am. Okay, this is why I do what I do. So it's a journey that I recommend everybody take. But I will tell you, it will take time. It's like peeling the onion. Sometimes I call it rewinding. Like we live through our life, right? And by the way, we can never go back and change anything. So anyone who like is disappointed about their past, you just learn from it because you can't go back and change. Okay, we can't time travel, not that I know of. Okay, so I call it rewinding. You might, because people will say, "This is why I am." I said, "No, that's a reason. That's a reason. That's a reason. That's not your why yet. You haven't gone back to identify your why yet. Keep rewinding until you find that why." And most of the time, it's between the age of 8 and 15.
It's crazy. What you're saying is actually so relatable, because especially in our industry, and not just real estate, but in entrepreneurship, because you don't have a set boss schedule or anything laid out for you. You're in this real estate game where you're supposed to run a business, like you mentioned, but there's so many things in this distracting world that will take you away from running that if you're not on top of it. So with that being said, this kind of I didn't really find out my why, like you mentioned, until just recently as well. And being in this industry with all these other go-getters and entrepreneurs, I'm like, man, everybody knows their why. Everybody, I mean, I was talking to Evan, he was telling me when he was, in the height of the 2008, 2009 stuff going on, and he had a family and he's got this house he's got to pay for, and how the hell he's going to do all that, right? And I just always felt like, man, I didn't know where that was coming from until recently. So you're right. It's so important. I guess what I want to find out from you is, what was your why and how did you find that out so recently?
Thank you for saying recently. I'm way older than my 30s now. The camera probably doesn't show my salt and pepper gray hair here. But I just turned 56, man, a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
you look great, man.
Thank you. So, it's a little while, of course. And for me, it was the same. So I am now in my second marriage. So I've been with my wife now for 20 some years, married for 17 years. Okay. And it was in between is my first marriage that failed. Okay. And I guess you're going to be in America. Might as well live the American, right? Half the people get divorced. So I was not one of those now. So, and so I learned from a lot of that, and I'm a better husband and father now, obviously. But I struggle. I'm like, oh, excuse my friends, who the F am I? Why am I doing all this? I worked my ass off to get to here. How did I fail? How did it not work out? I had 2 kids. together, and just didn't work out. So I just started thinking about it. And here's the cool thing: the journey I went through, I didn't realize what I was doing. I kind of stumbled on it. I got lucky that I did that journey. And later on, I started to read more. And I'll tell you a quick story on this. So I hate to read, by the way. I'm like one of those. I like to learn like this: talk to people, learn from the experience, right? So I don't like to read because I move really fast, and I think reading too slow for me. Even when I watch a movie or listen to a book, I do two speed, 2x
Oh,
speed.
me, yeah, I'm with you.
so anyway, so my now that I start reading more, I start realizing the journey I went through, and people were talking about it. So I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But for me, I was like, something's not right. I'm at this point now. What do I need to do next, and all these other things? And I start thinking about it, and that's when I start going back, and then I keep seeing the reasons. This is a reason why I'm doing this. This is the reason why I'm doing this. I'm like, well, but that's just a reason, you know. And I kept thinking about it, and then all of a sudden I realized that, and that was my crying moment. I'm like, dang, that's why. That's why. And ever since then, I feel like I'm a different person. Now, I'm so excited, passionate every day because my opportunity to share back, because I never want anyone to feel the way I felt that night. And it's every time I share this story, I still feel like I'm on that beach again, right? So it is so strong that some people who don't know me actually said, man, are you on drugs? Because you're always so passionate, high, and excited, right? I'm a high level, octane, excited. And I actually tell people, I mean, I don't take drugs. I broke my jaw playing softball.
Wow.
And they want to give me painkiller. I said no. It wasn't for our kids. We wouldn't even have Tylenol at home or NyQuil. I'm one of those. But yeah, Vinny, it was one of those moments that I just kind of took that journey by myself without realizing that I needed it.
That's definitely an inspiring story because I feel like a lot of listener can relate to that because a lot of time we're looking for that breakthrough, but we don't know where to find it. And that's the most trouble one. I feel like when someone's trapped in a position where they're not going anywhere for so many years, and but for you it hit you hard, and I feel like that's when you realize your breakthrough. What was the like the moment of the light bulb, the light switch went on, right? What was it like for you, and what some of the action that you took to exercise some of those actions?
Yeah, love it. It was weird because I talk about rewinding because that's why I use that analogy versus peeling the layer of the onion. So it's like all of a sudden your life is rewinding. It's like all of a sudden I'm seeing, oh, that's what happened. That's what happened. Oh, that's why that's happened. It's like all of a sudden it explained. It's like a piece of puzzle I couldn't put together, And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this piece go here. This piece go here. So my whole life was just rewinding real quick. What I did great, what I didn't do great, what I didn't do great. And this why explained it all. It was totally like, dude, this is, I'm like, all of a sudden now I get myself out of it. And that's you, Evan, you're so true. And Vinny, you said recently, right, that you figured it out. You are totally right. Most successful people know their why because that's why they can keep going because things are always going to happen to us out of our control. Okay. But the only thing we can control is the controllable is us. So usually it's when people are stuck somewhere in that situation they don't think they can get out is when they need to figure out their why the most, even more. Some of us are lucky enough to go, okay, I need to figure my why to go to the next level. I'm not doing bad now. I want to get here. Those are people I get to coach at least. Like they're doing pretty good, but they're like, Long, how do I go to the next level? But for most of us, the journey I took was I had no choice. I kind of had to force myself to do it, right? Because I was in that rut. I was like, this sucks, man. I bust my ass. I did pretty good. Same thing. I had a mortgage company and, and I built it the same, number one, independently owned, 160 some people working there. And of course, the 07, 08, 09 came around. That's when, it busted out. And then all these other things that happened that forced me to stop, rewind, and figure out, and it's, like I said, man, the light bulb goes on. It's different for everybody. Some people cry, some people, whatever, but it's like that aha moment. You're right, Evan. It's like, dang, dude, everything else just makes sense. It's really weird. It's like, sometimes I tell people it's like that Rain Man moment. You see all this number floating, all of a sudden they fit together in a formula, because all of a sudden it just makes sense.
You got some great movie references, Long. So
I'm a movie buff, man. I love movie.
I dig
All
it,
right.
man. I dig it.
So let's get to the nitty gritty of the business, right?
Yes.
I think the listener is dying to hear, especially those that are in real estate and running brokerages. So obviously you're Vietnamese and you're in Minnesota with like a 200 people, Vietnamese people in Minnesota.
Just about, yeah.
um, and you managed to put together a very large operations, right? So how do you scale this business? And also, let's talk about the numbers a little bit, the profit, right? The cash flow. Let's talk about that. Let's go inside to see, what this business is about and why you build it this way.
You got to buy him a drink first, Evan, before we get into the nitty gritty, man. Dang, that's our first date first.
Yeah. Hey, I love to share, obviously, so I have no problem. But I will say the great thing about our industry, Vinny, you said it, is like being an entrepreneur, right? So being in real estate is essentially small business owner. Okay, so you have to run it like that. But the cool thing is, successful real estate people, if they want to, they can go run any other businesses, and they also learn about profitability. I mean, but why real estate? First of all, 90% of all millionaires became millionaire by owning real estate. Okay, this is why this show is so great that you guys are sharing. Everybody needs to learn how to do this. So I just explained to my before I go into nitty gritty, I just explained to my youngest daughter, driving her at the drop off at a care booth. She's getting picked up. We have this big event tomorrow. 250 agents going to be there. It's called Success Summit. Okay, so then I told her, she's 20. I say, let's help you buy a house. And I'm trying to explain to her why she should buy a house, because she's like, well, it's going to be a little bit more than my rent payment. Right? So I'm like, of course, if you're renting, you're paying someone else's mortgage. I went through that whole scheme. So her two brothers, now 23 and 26, we bought them both a house. We did what you call rent to own, because they couldn't afford it at the time. So they both went out at about 20, rent to own, pay us back until you get your financing, right? So he did. Our 23-year-old just moved back into our house because we just helped him sold this house. He's going to look for another house, but now he want to move to Arizona. Made $45,000, right, in 3 years. So
Not bad.
I'm trying to explain to her all these things that why it should go in real estate. But back to the business, it's the same if you think about it, okay? You have to understand numbers and you have to be a business owner. So here's how you start out. First of all, we all start out as us. We try to do everything, right? And we don't know anything. But it's a people business. So most of us start out, this is why it's a hard business to be in. Because if you don't have those relationships already created, because your network is your net worth, especially when it comes to real estate. All businesses, but especially real estate, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to then, as a very first startup, you got to tap into the people you know. Okay? That's the very first, quickest way to success is your SOI, your sphere of influence. Now, or you might have gone with a team that provide leads for you because you need opportunities. So that's probably the first thing as a business owner is I don't care how good you are. If people don't know about you or use you, you don't make any money. So how do you get opportunities? So your entire focus when you first start on your business, on the top of the funnel, is to create as many opportunities as you can. So I always recommend people to do what we call a SWOT analysis. Okay. Yeah. SWOT. S is strength. W is weakness. Your strength and your weakness is you internally, you as a person. The opportunity and the threat is your business that you're starting out in your market, right? And it's different for everybody. And we usually go through that exercise, and I always remind people, sometimes your strength is your weakness and your weakness is your strength without realizing it, right? So you go through all that stuff because here's the thing. In a people business, we're all different. So because of that, we don't believe in a one size fits all. When people tell me, give me the playbook how to be successful, I say it's different for everybody. It's different for me, different for Evan, different for Vinny. Okay? So we sit down to do a SWOT analysis first. Well, if that's your strength and that's my weaknesses, I would never do what you do because I could never be good at it, right? Let's start with what you're good at. Let's start with playing offense. Okay? If you're good at something, let's go get it. So we'll figure out how to prospect. That's the biggest thing. Okay? But the problem you said already, Vinny, that people show up and there's no structure. Because as an entrepreneur, you don't show up and check in and you have a structure. Your boss tell you, here's the 3 things you do today. Here's your task. When you're done, you go home, right? And then they hold you accountable. You don't do it, you get fired or you get laid off or you get disciplined. We don't realize that we actually work, but we just work for ourselves. So now you have to be your own boss and your own employees. So because of that, you have to start creating a structure. Because remember, system run business, people run system, right? Create a system and a structure. and most of us call it the perfect daily schedule. Okay, you have to create a daily schedule, a structure for yourself. And here's the cool thing: you get to decide. If you're a stay-at-home mom or you're doing a part-time, whatever it is, okay, I usually ask after we do the strength and weakness and opportunity threat, right? I go through the daily schedule. I say, okay, so how many hours do you want to work a week? Okay. No, I usually do first. I figure out how much time they have, right? So now I start with the end goal in mind, because you have to find out what their goal is and you have to reverse engineer back everything. So let's say a part-time at-home mom said, I want to make an extra $30,000 a year, versus a full-time person said, I want to make $250,000 a year. You got an end goal now. I got a little quick formula, because all business owner and all investor, right, have a formula they use to see if they make profit or not and how they get there. So my formula is, let's call it $250,000, because in California that's what you guys probably need to make. Here in Minnesota, $100,000, you live pretty comfortably. Okay, so let's call it $100,000. If you want to make $100,000, I find out from them what's the net commission you will keep after you close the transaction on average. Because you have a split, right? You get whatever it is. Let's call it $10,000 to be simple math. Okay, $100,000 you want to make, you make about $10,000 on average per closing. How many transactions you need to close?
10.
10. Okay, 10 a year. So now I start using this and I say, you can tweak it, you can improve it, you can get better, but let's use worst case scenario. 75% of your transaction you think is going to close will close, because 25% will fall out. I'm telling you right now. Dad walked through final inspection, didn't like the way the doors hung, cancel, right? A lender found something that they didn't know about, didn't get approved, just weird thing happened, right? So 25% will fall through. That means only 75% of your deal will close. So you take 10 divided by 75%, you need 13, 14 contracts. 13, 14 buyer, seller, right? Whatever that number looks like, right? You following me so far? So you need 14. Let's round it up. So to get 14 contract, you need to meet with enough people to get the contract. So for me, I say 50% conversion ratio, because hopefully these are people you know or people you set up with and you're good at being trained how to convert, right? So if you meet with 28 people who are looking to buy, sell a house, 14 of them will sign with you. Okay, that's pretty fair, because you should get pretty good at this, right? Some of us do way better than that. I know I do way better than that. If I meet somebody, they're probably signing with me, right? But I'm using worst case scenario. So that's 28 meetings, appointment you need to have. Okay? To get 28 appointment, 25% of people you prospect that need to buy or sell home will meet with you, because they're interviewing you, they're interviewing all the agent, interviewing whatever it is. Okay? So now you take 28 and you divide by 25%, that's 112. 112 prospecting opportunity you need. Okay? So now, this could be your SOI, it could be whatever. But let's say you buy data, you buy lists that you're going to pound the phone, call, door knock, whatever. Well, 10% of people you touches will engage back with you. Okay? So again, I'm getting the funnel. I'm building a funnel for you to see how you get there. Okay? But
I was going to say it's a masterclass.
That's right.
Going down here.
So that if you're 10% of that, right? Well, easy math for you. Good math. That's 1,120 touches. So people go, well, that's a lot. I'm like, okay, let's keep that in mind. Let's put it aside. So this is where you reverse engineer back. 1,120 touches. This is when you reach out one way. Engagement is when they engage back with you, right? So this is door knocking, cold calling, whatever you need to do. So now I ask the people, how many weeks of vacation would you like to take? Right? Everyone, you say, hi, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. I'm like, good. I'll double it. You say 4 weeks, take 8 weeks off. Okay? So 8 weeks off, that's 44 weeks. 52 minus 8. 44 weeks you're going to work, right? I said, how many days are you going to work a week? Everyone always says 7 or 6. I'm like, 5 days. Okay? Take 5 days a week. So I start now, reverse engineer back, 5 days a week. How many hours you want to work a day? 8 hours, of course. Go 6. I'm always giving them like worse, right? Because now they can't but double that. So now if you have 6 hours, blah, blah, blah. Now I take the 120. Okay? I take 1,120 touches, divide by 44 working weeks. That's 25 a week.
Wow.
Okay? And if you work 5 days a week, divided by 5, that's 5 a day. Okay? If you work 6 hours a day, that's freaking one touches an hour. How long does it take you to touch somebody? Quick call, quick text, post on social media. So I'm telling them right now, if you touch out to one person an hour and consistently do it, I will guarantee you make $100,000 a year, if not more. So that's my normal basic, really quick in a nutshell, Evan, that if I was to sit down with somebody, I don't care if you're new, you're old, you want to do more.
Episode done. That's it.
I'm glad we captured this for the new agent. I did a similar exercise with my team not too long ago, and we broke down to about 4 to 5 contacts a day. And I challenged them to do 28 contacts a week. And we use follow-up bots, so we see them do everything on there: text messages, phone calls, and logs and emails, all that stuff. So I think this business is very crucial. It's all about the numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Is if you want to produce more, then you got to put in the work. But like you say, I like you put in calendar, like vacations and all that time. I mean, really looking at it, if you go out and find a 9-to-5 job and you work for somebody, you got to put in 8 hours of work every day, right? And you have to submit requests for vacation. When you work for yourself, you kind of have to do the same thing. You see what I mean? And I'm glad that you put all that structure in place, so everyone know that in this business, you got to run it like a business.
But here's the thing again. Unless you figure out your why, you won't do any of this stuff I'm telling you anyway. You know what I'm saying? But yes, so then now if you have that 6 hours a day, Evan, now break down your day. It's from 9 to 10. This is what you do. From 10 to 11, that's what we call the perfect daily schedule. And you stick with that, right? Now, our industry does have a lot of reactive work. Hey, I want to go see a house, right? I got to respond to this because they offer. Great. Build it into your daily schedule. You know, that's one thing people really bad at is how they use time. Because time is a game changer. I don't care if you're a billionaire or you're homeless. We all have the same amount of time. But successful people figure out how to use their time more effectively, right? So again, that daily schedule, set it up and then follow it.
That's powerful.
Yeah, epitome of what you said earlier. Systems run business and people run the systems. That's a straight up episode in itself right there, what you just broke down. And I think that's very valuable for a lot of people, not even just in real estate, but any type of entrepreneurial. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you make money by shaking hands and meeting people face to face, belly to belly, right? I want to get into this because it all kind of ties back to a little bit before, but you know, with the structure and the systems that you kind of built, it's easy to see how you went from 8 to 400 to 500 to now 800 agents. And you also mentioned the mortgage business too. Real quickly, I want to find out, what is it that you do? I mean, I know you put the systems in place, but give us something really tangible that made you consistently, when you make a business, it goes number one. I mean, because even with the real estate stuff, you don't see any Vietnamese real estate professionals in the top 15 of real trends at all. You know what I mean? So what's the thing that's consistently getting you to the number one spot? And after that, I want to, like Evan was saying, I want to love to dive into the numbers of economics of the team here. So
Yep. So I know it sounds boring, but you guys know every time you have guests on, probably everything goes back to mindset all the time, right? So mindset. Well, right. Evan's not exaggerating. We have a few more than 200 Vietnamese people here, but not a lot. Okay, so less than 5% of our population is Vietnamese here in Minnesota. We have 5.7 million people. So you can imagine, right? Not that many. So of course, for me, then my mindset, and I have to get past just working with the Vietnamese people that I'm comfortable working with. So then I'm like, once I make the mindset, now, right, you go out and you do whatever. But I also know it's a people business, and people like and trust. So the biggest thing is, number one, at Realty Group, we're very diverse. We speak 31 languages. So I don't have just Vietnamese agents here. I don't have just, Caucasian speaking. I have like all kinds, So I have the number one Latino agent in the country working for me at Realty Group. Okay. So awesome. Those are the kind of the people that we attract. But here's what the tangible thing is. In the people business, we always talk about people business over and over again. I tell people all the time, they know that my name is worth more than silver and gold. Okay. Your brand is so important. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Okay. If you promise something, make it happen. If you screw up, be honest and apologize and make it right. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's like people before profit. Okay. You kind of hear those kind of things, right? So that's the mindset, Vinny, is how it starts. So then because of that, When I sit down and I meet with people and I tell them about the opportunity we have at Realty Group, because there's a culture code in the people business. There's a culture code. Okay. There's 3 reasons why people are with you, your organization, your team, your podcast, whatever it is, right? One is they want to feel safe. When they come to you, don't feel like, I feel safe here. I'm hanging out with Evan and Vinny. They're not going to, screw me or cut something I say, take it out of context and make me look bad, right? I feel safe. That's why I like you guys. I want to be here. Same with any organization, team, or brokerages. Okay. Want to feel safe. 2 is I want to feel connected. Every one of my agents knows about my story. They connect with me as a person. They trust me. They like me. They know my name is better than silver and gold. If Long says it, I know it's going to happen, right? So they feel safe. They feel connected. And the 3rd thing is that you have to have a shared vision or shared future, meaning that we'll go all to the same place. I'm going to lead them to where they want to go. If I'm going north, they're going south. It's not the right alignment. When I meet with an agent, I literally tell them, we're not in alignment. You're not a good fit for me. Okay, you should go somewhere else. Because we actually say no to them more than we say yes. Because bringing in the wrong person is not going to work. Because there's many, many good models out there. But we're only right for a certain type of models, right? So let's just focus on that. So that's what it is, Vin, is that we're putting system and process. System run business, people run system. And we plug in the right people. We always say we'd rather hire for culture and train for skill. You can come with a lot of skills already, but sometimes they're bad habits, right? If you're not the right culture, it's like a cancer. It's contagious.
Totally.
We will ask people to leave when they're negative or drama. Well, we had one person we asked to leave that did 121 transactions a year. That's a lot. 121 transactions. We found out a bunch of stuff about her within the 30 days. We vetted, we verified, we asked her to leave, said, Long, are you serious? I'm like, yes. It's brand protection for us. We don't think you're a good fit here. So then that's starting to get noticed. And people start to go, I want to be at that place, And now it's not all about numbers anymore. Of course, that's important for all business owners. That has to be, and we can talk about that next. But it's still about the people, and they want to trust the people.
So true, because especially in our business, I feel like agents are always top of mind thinking about what's the split at my spot, right? Mm-hmm. What's the split, but not thinking about the culture or the accountability or the tools. They're just thinking about, I'm getting 70-30, I'm getting 50-50, I'm getting 80-20, right? Or whatever. So with that, I know your brokerage is set up a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Can you kind of go into that?
Yes. So the traditional real estate model, as I call them, and everybody know who they are. I don't need to call them out, but I think their value proposition is just not current or relevant anymore. So unless they're making the changes to keep up, right, they're going to start to struggle, and they will start to lose people to the new model. That's just evolution of every industry, right, including real estate, which is going through a slower than most industry. Okay, you look at Uber. People still get rides, but now they use Uber. People still travel. They use Expedia, right? People still watch movie. They use Netflix. Hell, I have a daughter and a wife. Shopping shows up at my house every day at Amazon, So everything has changed. Real estate is one of those last space that's changing. And because of that, the model needs to be changed. So when I started Realty Group in 2009, I went right from mortgage to real estate. 08, 09, you remember that time. We talked about that a little bit already, right? For me, as a business owner, I did my SWOT analysis, and I saw a threat in my mortgage business, but I saw an opportunity in the real estate business. So I went from mortgage to real estate, and I closed 1,000 transactions my first couple of years in the industry. I think I was number 4, number 5 in the state of Minnesota because I jumped into REOs. Okay, I figured right away that's the opportunity, and I figured out how to get there. I reverse engineer back every step, just like I did this exercise with you guys, and I found out Freddie, Fannie, HUD, a bunch of big banks are out in Dallas. My kids were young at the time. I told my wife, honey, I'll see you tomorrow, about every 3-4 weeks. I fly to Dallas, $104 round trip, I remember, an hour and a half, 2-hour flight. I landed about 10 o'clock, the time we're talking right now, my time anyway. And then I set up a bunch of meetings with what we call asset managers at the time, okay? So I got a coffee, a lunch, coffee, happy hour, dinner, next morning a coffee, and then I go back. I meet 6 to 8. I get to know them. I build a relationship with them. I know their significant other, their kids. We talk. I ask them what all the challenges they have in their business. They share with me. I did that for almost a year. I also learned that the contracts stay with the broker. So if I get a contract, so then I have to wait my 2 years, now it's 3 years in Minnesota, to become a broker. So I did all this stuff. I built up. I was selling a little bit of real estate in the meantime. And then once I got my broker, my broker license, I started a realty group. I now call all my friends, say, guys, I'm ready to go. I went from 0 to 400 listing in 6 months. Okay, so that's how I got into the real estate business.
Wow.
So back to building this thing out. Okay, so this is what you have to start understanding, is that you have to see what all the opportunities, the threats are. So if you didn't already know this, the real estate sector, we account for about 17% of the US gross GDP. Okay, and every real estate transaction, there's an average of $113,000 in economic impacts.
Yeah, that's right.
Why? Because on an average, 40 people touches real estate transaction. Real estate agents, brokers, mortgage people, title, escrow, mover, stager, photographer, plumber, appraiser, inspector. I can go on and on and on and on, right? Well, that means there's different places you can get revenue. Okay, different vertical. Remember, a business owner, right? You got to think of vertical of where you make business, right?
Right.
So the way our model is set up, my business partner Mike and I. So in 2014 is when REO started to dry up. So that's when we started to grow Realty Group. That's when we had 8 agents, right? That's really what we call RG 2.0. So my business partner Mike and I got together and we talk about it. So now we're like, let's do something different. So now here's how our model works. We built this ecosystem, and when an agent comes to us, we're going to share 100% of their real estate commission with them. Okay, that's about 10% of the $113,000, right? Average $10,000 commission in our market, California, maybe a little bit higher. Okay, so we share that. We get a nominal fee, broker admin fee of $595, $600, and we have a subscription of $100 a month. Okay, everyone pays $100 on it with us. Well, of 800 some agents, that $100 a month goes into the pod, a partnership model, where we use that to get follow-up boss for them. We have wide local, we have reevaluate, we have listing to lead, we have all these things, we have all the support. We literally give them a full service traditional real estate model because everyone chips in $100 to do that. Okay, then every transaction they close, we get the $595. So that doesn't sound like a lot, but we average about 4,000 to 5,000 transactions a year. Okay,
wow.
So that's one source of income. We also own a title company. In your state, it's called escrow. Okay, in our state, it's a title company. We're up to about 42 to 43% adoption. We tell our partner, you can use whoever you want. It's illegal actually for us to tell you who to use. But as your partner, I'm helping you make more money on the real estate side to take care of yourself and your family. Give me a shot. We'll earn it. We don't do a good job, go somewhere else. But you got to use somebody anyway. Okay, with my mortgage background, mortgage company is nearby, but we have MSA. So in the real estate space, there's a thing called RESPA, right? The real estate, mortgage, title, insurance, all those have to be set up correctly. Otherwise, you get in trouble for referral, right? So you have to set up correctly. So we have all this relationship. We have MSA, marketing service agreement. We have rent. We have revenue share. So every of those 40 people that touches a real estate transaction in our ecosystem, we have a partnership with them. And we're upfront and transparent about it. We have Mr. Agent, you come to us, you're going to need to have a mover, a photographer, a stager to you. You don't have your own? We got them vetted for you. Please feel free to check them out and use them. And in our model, that's how we do it. Because of that, we also go after producing agents. We're like, you guys want to make more money, right? Well, make more, keep more with us. You come here, we'll help you close more deals, and you're going to keep more of it. And because you do so much volume, give us a shot of some of that, if not all of that stuff. So now that's a win-win model for us. And that's how Realty Group is set up.
I like that. You're creating more business opportunity for them as well. It makes more sense coming to your company because you have an ecosystem built out.
That's right.
It sounds familiar, right, Evan? About the mortgage company in 2008 and start, going after those asset managers to get those contracts. Evan
I
kind of
went through a similar cycle with Long. I remember when I first met him back in REO days, was the time that he was pretty big REO broker at a time already. At that time, I got an REO late. I was in lending as well, but I got an REO late. So I was in Sacramento at a time, but I saw a different opportunity because I had a few smaller REOs accounts and I was listing them and I getting all these Bay Area buyers that coming in buying it with all cash. And then later I see them listing back on the market. And I'm like, wait a minute, if you're doing all that, I can find you more. I have all these connections. I have all these brokers of my friends who get a lot of upcoming listing. So why don't I just partner up with you, right? I'll find property. We'll buy them together. I'll run the show. I'll fix all that up. We put it back in the market. So that's my transition back into the Bay Area, where I dive a lot deeper into real estate investment, and I start my own brokerage where I just focus on real estate investment. And we went out and we call ourselves at a time an acquisition manager. So you guys were the REO brokerage. We're the acquisition manager. Whatever you're selling, we're buying.
Smart.
So at that time, that was it's funny that we came with that concept, and we buying property cash. We go to courthouse auctions. You remember that? So
Yep.
that was a fun day for sure. Let's talk about more of the cash flow, the business, right? Running this ship, right? Should someone like Vinny or myself even running a team right now with 11 agents, should I look forward towards putting together ecosystem with 800 agents? Is
Yeah.
there a
No.
profit margin for that?
No. I will tell you why. Because again, it's back to your why. If your why is like right now, my kid's older, right? So
Right.
if you have younger kids, you might want to spend more time with your family. You might do this, do this. So my model is not a good fit for you, right? What I'm doing is not right for you. That's what I'm trying. People always say, hey, Long, I want to be like you, want to do this. I'm like, I don't think you're ready for that, or I don't think you're the right fit for that, or I don't think this business is the right fit for you. It's stressful. It's high stress. Remember, man, I feel responsible for 800 families right now. Okay, if I don't make the right move, they're gonna struggle, right? Something's gonna happen. So it's a lot of pressure. It's not for everybody. Also, bigger is not always better either. Trust me. There's many days, because I still do a couple deals here that stay sharp, right? When an agent call me, I don't know what I'm talking about. There'll be a couple times I'll do a couple deals and I'll tell my wife, oh my God, I'll just do 2-3 deals a month like this and not even have any headache. But I remember my why, because my why is I want to help people to do better, right? To never feel hopeless, helpless, and to be able to take care of their family. Then I go back to this. I'm like, hey, I still make a very good living. Can I make more money and work less? Absolutely. Okay. So you have to know your why. You have to know what you want to do before you start growing your business. But yes, if you want to do this, you can as well. I just don't think that sometimes you can be, because I'll tell you right now, every time we grow, right, from 50 agents to 100 agents, we're like, wait a minute, we're losing more money at 100 than we did at 50. Why? Because you have to put in the infrastructure. You have to invest in growth. You have to open a new office, right? You have to pay more people to help you out. You have to buy a different platform. So now you're constantly investing. And then by the time you get there, what used to work for you at 50 agents doesn't work at 200. Guess what? You got to adjust and adjust. So you're constantly, so what I will tell you this, look at your business.
Right.
And decide, are you building to last or building to sell? That's the important part for all business owners. Okay? Building to last or building to sell. Then you start creating that structure, the system, the process, right? And then start going, okay, instead of going out to get bigger and bigger, how do you maximize what you already have?
Correct.
If you have only 10, 11 agents, instead of going to 20, what if you load up the 10, 11 agents with more leads, more opportunity, they close more deals, everybody makes more money. So bigger, more is not always better. I'm not saying that it's not, because we're doing it, but it's different. So I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just saying it's different for everybody is my answer.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize that it's the responsibility, and I like that you say it in that way, because your passion in terms of protecting these families that you built them over the years, and that's perfect transition for us to the reason why very excited for you to be part of VNARP National Board and our leadership team, because I know we have a leadership retreat coming up in January in Northern California. And the reason I'm really excited, because you have to know how to build the ecosystem to expand and scale out. And I think VNARP have done very good to where we are today. But I think we get to the point where we start to scale, right? And with that, VNARP is a nonprofit organization, stand for the Vietnamese National Association of Real Estate Professional. So we now have 3 chapters in Northern California, Southern California, and Houston. And this year we're looking to expand to more chapters. And why we created this platform for people like Unloan to have a place to plug in, give back, and help scale. And this scalability is not for profit. This scalability is to help Vietnamese and non-Vietnamese members of VNARP that want to thrive and grow in the Vietnamese community, or give back to the Vietnamese community. In a sense, it directly benefits our community overall. So with that, I want to ask you this question. I mean, with your leadership skill, what are some of the things that you're looking forward towards, plugging into VNARP, and what are some of the vision you have for VNARP coming up in the next maybe 2 to 5 years?
Yeah, well, first of all, great job starting this, Evan. I mean, you have a great vision, right? And this is where it's a time to go to the next level. Okay. Because system run business, people run system. You kind of created this system of this thing. Now you're plugging in people. You're bringing on really good people now that I noticed. Helen, right? And Jung, you already, and Thumb. There's already this whole group of people I got to meet. Like, dang, this is some great people here. So that's why it's going to happen, because you now have different people. Okay. So now my job to come in is to help out, is to follow your lead that you already started, and to help bring that vision to reality to the next stage. Okay. And what that is let's make sure we have the right people in place with the right why. And for this type of organization, including my business, sometimes I feel like I am running a nonprofit, because I probably don't make as much money as one of your agents. My agent don't, right? For me, when I look at someone, coach them, I ask them, what's on an average, how much does each agent make for you profit? Like, they don't know. So how do you not know? If you do, this is how you scale your business. You go get 5 more, you want to make $5 more $100,000, whatever that is. Well, for me, it's the same. This is why it's going to apply here, is that we want to help people and create this platform. Okay. If you help people, money will come, right? Help others achieve their dreams and you'll achieve yours. So that's what we're going to think, and you already started that. So what I'm going to come in and do is I'm just going to help take a look at process system, how we can tweak it, share how I've done it, because again, how I grow my business is very similar to what we're going to be doing with VNOP, right? Again, it's a business, because just because it's a nonprofit, people don't realize that just means we're not out for profit, but it's still our business.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to create system process to run the business. So I'm excited for this, to go national and then international. This is it's amazing. So my plan is to come in, learn a little bit, share what I have, and then wait for you and T. Helen to tell me where I fit and how I can help, and I go to work, man.
I'm excited, man. There's a lot of things, good things are happening to VNARP and the national membership that we're working on, but also to the platform. And the technology is going to improve a lot for us to bring all of us together and create a platform where we can share our traits of secrets, and even with a podcast like this, I think it's a great start. And I'm looking forward towards having more VNARP leaderships and even people in our network to come and share on this platform. I think the audience and people that follow these shows can pick out some golden nuggets here and there. And, and then also too, we want to wrap up this. We're approaching an hour here, but, let people know how they can approach you and how they can reach out to you if they have a question or something like that.
Yeah, I'm very open. I'm very busy, yes, but I'm always here to help, right? And you just Google me, Long Doan in Minnesota. I'll pop up. Believe it or not, there's another Long Doan somewhere in Maryland when I first Google myself. By the way, if you're in business and you don't Google yourself to see what you look like out there, you need to do that, by the way, okay? Because you got to create your brand awareness. You have to be out there, because that's how people look you up nowadays, okay? So just look me up, Long Doan in Minnesota. But I will tell you this. During COVID, okay, COVID, one of these things that changed our evolution of people too, right? A lot of things changed from COVID, some good, some bad. I remember during COVID, everyone's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I remember telling people, you can't control what's happening to you. We don't know what's going on right now, but you control yourself. Okay. And I said, anyone who needs any help, I don't care if you would real enough, just reach out to me. And I got an agent who IM me. We jump on. That's when Zoom started to get big, right? We jump on Zoom, and a lot of people don't know how Zoom works yet, Evan. So yep. I remember was listening to this agent, scared. I was telling him what he should be doing. And I think it's his wife, his girlfriend in the back, because they don't really know how Zoom works yet, so new. She's like, ask him, why is he telling you all this? How's he not charging you for it? What's in it for him? Right? What's in it for him? Well, my passion is I want to give back. That's what's in it for me. Well, people don't realize that when people let me help them, I get more out of it than they do. I get that satisfaction because I get to feed my why, So you can reach out to me, look me up, IM me, whatever you need to do. But I will tell you one thing I would love to see VNAP do more of. And my partner and I are looking to create that right now for Realty Group. It wouldn't real estate. Why are we not, as real estate professional, own more real estate ourselves? Okay. Mm-hmm. We want to start creating syndication opportunity, investment opportunity where everyone who is part of this ecosystem can do it. So not Realty Group, maybe VNAP can do it. Maybe this platform you guys have a place for people to go to and link. Said, I want to be an investor with you guys. You got any deal? I want to be in on it. That's what I like to see more with VNAP as well. is an actual place for people to build wealth while being a member of it.
Yeah. Well, you said it earlier, and we talk about it on this show all the time, is your net worth is your network. And it comes from finding deals to any sort of other opportunity. It's just getting all the right brains together so that way magic can happen. I think this was such a great episode. I'm like super inspired, and it's cool to see too, just because you talk a lot about familiar things that I think a lot of entrepreneurs need to listen to. And we didn't really touch about it too much, but I love how you took the opportunity with your business, saw other multiple verticals that you can make out of it: the lending side, the title side, the coaching side, which speaks to the true entrepreneurial and business person that you are. But I think people should get inspired by this, because there's so many other things that you can look into if you just keep your eyes open and work hard, because it'll come to you, right? But in any case, looking forward to talking to you a little bit more as well outside of this, and Long. And thanks for spending the time with us.
I think I want to answer the thing, the idea that you have in Long. Since VNOP inceptions and to the future emissions, a lot of VNOP member have done a lot of business together already. But definitely, you're right. We need a platform that more strategically, where we can actually reach out and say, Long, we got a deal in Minnesota. Let's do a deal together. Because I love to do a deal with the people I associate with and hang out with all the time, especially in the leadership level. So definitely, I think we can definitely develop something like that. I'm really excited to continue working with you and to build out, a platform that we have in place for. But thank you so much for being on the show. It has been a lot of insightful information. I feel like you're very approachable as always. And let's share this on Facebook. So maybe we can start a comments area and people can start chatting about it. And that'd be great. What do you think, Vin?
Yeah. It's awesome,
Well,
man.
thank you. Thank you for having me. I didn't know an hour flew by so fast. Just having fun hanging out with you guys. I felt like we could have been sitting at the table having some coffee and a drink and just having a good
Totally,
time.
man. Yeah, you were saying earlier, people think you're on drugs, but honestly, whatever it is, I want some of it. So thanks a lot. I appreciate you, and we'll keep in touch.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks
guys.
again for being on the show and Cashflow Bros. If you like the show, please subscribe and click on the alert button. And we're looking to stay in touch and answer some of your comments.
All right. See you guys.
Have a good day. Bye.